just few points of the morning class. If you refute dualism, how are you telling about the creation? Since the Shruti says there is no multiplicity here, it becomes clear that he is born through Maya. To tell that the creation is because of Maya, it has been. The word Maya, then the opponent says, the word Maya indicates knowledge, he says. Word Maya indicates knowledge, prajna. That is the opponent has asked. Maya word is negated. In Shruti, it says the word Maya is negated. Bhuyaschante Visramaya Nivrittiriti. In the end, the Maya is negated. Then, if you don't agree the word Maya as prajna, then what is the meaning that you are going to tell? It says, since sensory knowledge is regarded as Maya, perception of oneness of the self alone is the settled fact of Upanishads. It yields great results. Delusion and grief are removed. Sambhuti, again he says it is Hiranyagarbha. Worship is negated, as well as creation is negated. And because it is the main cause for creation after Ishvara, pradhana malla nibarhana nyayaha. If you win over the main wrestler, other wrestlers are defeated. So the gods below him are refuted for worship. When he is negating the worship of Hiranyagarbha, that means the below gods also are negated. That's what he says. अच्छा जल्दी पट्टा नहीं हिलेगा हाँ हाँ So we have to start from page 432, no, 432. Because it is in the middle of the letters, I am not able to see. And now he is asking, the blame of Sambhuti is not to tell its unreality. Here he says, in the very Karika, by the blame of worship of Hiranyagarbha he starts. So, the blame of Sambhuti or Hiranyagarbha is not to tell its unreality, but vinashena mrityum titva, it comes in Ishavasya, to tell the actions and upasana collectively gives results. The worship and the actions. Worship is upasana, actions are spiritual injunctions followed. So by combining this, it gives results. So this opponent is telling. The refutation is for results, when done collectively, the refutation of Sambhuti, Yastadvedo bhayam saha, he says, Sambhutincha vinashancha. Like that he says, by collective worship of Sambhuti and Asambhuti, he will get results. That yesterday I told, it is Prakriti Laya, sleeping and sleeping and sleeping only, for ages together. So the refutation is for the results when done collectively. He gives illustration. Andham tama pravishanti ye avidyam upasate. Vidya, I told, it is worship. Avidya is actions. So, those, Vidya is upasana. What I told? Worship and upasana. So, he says in Isavasya, Andham tamah pravishanti ye avidyam upasate. Those who follow the rites of the Vedas, they go to darkness. Doing the rites of the Vedas, told by Vedas, darkness in the sense, to fulfill some desire, they do some actions, and Kshide Punya Martilokam Mishanti. When the result is over, they have to come back. We know, last time also we told, one king was there by name Nahusha. You remember. What happened? He became Indra, and afterwards he became a serpent because the curse of the rishis. Kshine punye martilokam mishanti. Now what he says, andam tama pravishanti ye avidyam upasate. And afterwards what he says, if you do the actions, along with that if you do the worship, pray the gods, actions, that is Indraya Swaha, Varunaya Swaha, Agneya Swaha, Suryaya Swaha, Vishnave Swaha. This is the action. But while doing the action, if you meditate on that particular God for whom you are putting the oblations, it will give more results. So he says, refutation of actions is collectively to do actions and worship. That is upasana. Because vidyancha avidyancha yastadvedo bhayam saha. So it is heard in the vidyancha avidyancha yastadvedo bhayam saha. One who follows the both, collectively one who does. Now this is the question of the opponent. He says, we do accept your question. Satyameva. You talk correctly. That is, he is supporting the opponent. Satyameva. The negation is to do collectively. Collectively doing is in the state of ignorance. See, we do agree what you say, but doing the actions and the worship collectively, it is only in the state of ignorance. That's why refute. There in that one gets fruits, but fruits also they get. But what is told that Sambhuti is not a substance. Sambhuti It is the effect. It is called karya, but it is not karana, effect. But it says the effect is not a substance. Why? He is negating the whole world. So where will be the effect? It is only imaginary. From the absolute point, the effect is negating. So he says, it is not a substance. That it means that it is not real. It is blamed. Tathapi, he says, now we will read the Sanskrit as well as the English one. Nanu vinashena sambhute samucche vidyartham sambhutyapavadha yatha andam tama pravishanti ye vidyam upasate. Here, the denunciation of Hiranyagarbha is meant for conjoining the worship with the ritual called vinasha, as could be seen from those who worship avidya, the karma, bana vignas, go to pitch darkness. So, combining will be giving results. So, why do you refute? He says, what you say, it is correct. But, devata darshanasya sambhuti vishayasya vinasa sabdavachyasya karmana samuchay vidanartha sambhutyapavadaha. He says, it is quite true that the refutation of worship of Hiranyagarbha is made with a view to coordinate the meditation on Hiranyagarbha with the ritual called Vinasa. Still, just as the purpose of performance of a ritual called Vinasa is to transcend death, that is of the nature of actions born of natural ignorance. Worship of Vinasa, Vinasa means that which get destroyed. So too the object of combination of the meditation on gods with the ritual known as Vinasa laid down for the purification of the human mind. Now, the commentator is telling that is Shankaracharya. But the writer of the Karika simply negates. No effect, no Hiranyagarbha, no worship. But taking the relative world and from the ignorant person's view, the commentator is telling. What he says? Purification of the mind, laid down for the purification of the mind. If you worship both, mind is purified. Is to transcend death. Death means that is of the nature of attachment to rights and the fruits thereof. What is the death here? It is attachment to the actions and the fruits. That is death. Characterized by the twofold longing for ends and means, sadhya sadhana bhava. I will do this particular action and I will get this result. That is the end, this is the means. So, says, that is death. Why? The results of the actions are not real. For some time, though the results are there, they are destroyed. Why they should get destroyed? Because action is not real. Fruits are not real. And whatever they desire in the world, that is not real. The whole world is unreal. Then how the actions and the results in the world can be real? So, there Shankara says, karma is jada, it is only matter. and the results are also jada. Hmm? And both are when unreal, how you will get to the real nature of the Atman? So, you are called a karma jada, he says. By doing actions, your mind has become matter, he says. Karma jada. He gives the word. In Isavasya, in the first commentary, in the beginning, you can see this word, karma jada. That is, by doing actions only, and attach it to the actions, your mind has become matter, he says. Karma jada. That Sri Krishna, he says, Yamima pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitha vedavadarata partha nanyadasti iti vadanaha kamatmana swargaparaha. In 3 stanzas, he simply says those that are attached to the word. They praise the action so much, the others are get attracted. But he says, Kamatmanaha Swargapara, they are having desires, they wanted to go to heaven, which is unreal. The actions, longing for ends and means, for only in this manner can man becomes purged of impurity of the nature of death. So, by doing the actions as well as the worship combinedly is purifying the mind. But he should do the actions and the worship without any attachment of the fruits. Even in Gita, what Sri Krishna says, Nishkama karma. So, when your mind gets purified, when you do the actions and the worship without hankering for fruits, even if little desire is there for the fruits, then you will get the fruits, mind is not purified. Until and unless the mind is purified, if only mind is purified, then only you will get dispassion and discrimination. If mind is not pure, this also you will not get. Then what to think of the oneness? Everything is gone in one shot. That is, doing the action with selfish motive, you are going away from yourself. You are going away from your own self, Atman, the oneness. For only in this manner can one become purged by the impurity of the nature of death, characterized by the twofold longing. Hence, this avidya of the characteristic of the combination of meditation of gods with the rituals is intended for transcending death. There he says, what is this death? The natural attachment of the body, mind and with objects. The natural attachments of all the objects, Vishaya, that itself is death, he says. So, why there it is told in Isavasya? You have to combine Sambhuti, Asambhuti, Vidya and Avidya, Upasana. If you do them without attachment, your mind is purified, you will get discrimination and dispassion, and then only you can hear this Shruti, Sravana Manana Nidhyasana. So your question has come. If simply by actions, unselfish action, if mind is purified, what necessary is there to do other things? Other things we need not do. We can easily realize. We cannot immediately after the purification of the mind, you cannot realize. Because a mind is pure. Even, see, so many are there with pure mind in the world also, but they are not having discrimination and dispassion. They don't give up the world. They stay in the world itself. So, somewhere some impurity is there. We have to conclude. That's why they are having desires. So, what is the inference for a purified mind? He will be having discrimination and dispassion. Then only he can give up the desires of the world, attachment to the world, attachment to the body, mind, senses, objects. Without that he cannot give up. Until and unless he gives up, he cannot go for Vedanta. But you say, I am an householder, I am daily hearing Vedanta. So why should I do the rituals? One fellow came and asked me. I asked him, you are a householder? Yes. And why you have given up the Sandhya Vandan, Gayatri, Japa and worship? No, daily I am hearing Vedanta, that's why I give up. You have not given up your wife, children, money, house, relatives, attachments for the objects, and you have given only the ritualistic portion. So you are so intelligent. Why? He simply says, see, because I am hearing Vedanta, I give up the rituals. That is foolishness. According to the stage of the life, you have to follow all the rituals. Afterwards, after doing your ritualistic portion, according to your life and stage, if you are having time, you hear Vedanta. Nobody is objecting. But that does not mean because you are reading Vedanta 1 hour, 1 day, and you give up all the rituals. Other things you have not given up. So it is a type of misunderstanding and undiscrimination. వేదాంతం వినే వాళ్ళకి అక్కర్లేదు, వేదాంతం వినలేని వాళ్ళకి, అర్థం చేసుకోలేని వాళ్ళకి, అలా నేను విన్నాను. Then both things. No, for anybody, students even also. What he says is, even if you hear Vedanta as a monk, as a sannyasi, still you have to do 12,500 japa of Om.
This I read somewhere. So
But
there is a rule even for a sannyasi who is in this continuation. So as long as he doesn't experience himself, so
no, but what I heard is, for the middle aspirants and the low aspirants, those who cannot understand Vedanta, those who are not having the facilities to hear Vedanta, for such people, they have taken sannyasa. No putreshna, lokeshna, vitteshna. For such people, they should, aspirants, they should do 12,500 japa. But not simply taking the mala, Om, 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 not like that. At least 6 beats should be there. Om, Om. And according to this particular Upanishad, you have to meditate on the all-pervading Brahman. What is A, what is U, what is Ma. And these things are only superimposition. Then just by chanting, even he is not hearing Vedanta, he will realize. But if he is not able to understand the oneness, even after chanting for such a long period, daily, he will go to Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka he will go. There, with the release of Brahman, he will get released. That's what I heard for the...
Continue there or not?
If he continues there, it is well and good. But if some desire arises there, in the next kalpa he will come back. These are all in Brahma Sutras, in the end. But if it is good, you see, if you hear Vedanta and at the same time if you can do so much of japa, you will realize quickly. No, but he was not so much, he is not able to understand Hindi itself.
But he used to come and
For some time. So to overcome the death, natural attachment for the objects, body, mind, results of the actions, this he says the death. To overcome that particular death, you have to do the worship combined with actions without hankering for fruits. But nowadays, we see even in India, nobody is doing the ritualistic portion of the actions. Not even a brahmachari, not even a grihastha, not even a vanaprastha. And the individuals have become so selfish, they don't want to serve even father or mother. Simply they keep them in old age homes. And these people, they think, father and mother, we are leading the vanaprastha life. Simply superimposition. No ritualistic portion. And they think we are doing vanaprastha. See, a vanaprasthi, he can keep wife with him, but he has to do all the rituals, all the rites. Nothing he does, simply eat and sleep. We are leading vanaprastha life. By that you are not going to realize your own self. You are leading the life, that's all right. You are having good prarabdha. That's why you are put in a dog also is there in America or say in London, moving in the cars, staying in the AC rooms. They spend so much. It is also having the prarabdha. You are having good prarabdha, that's why you are having a good room. Somebody is there to serve you, eat and sleep. That's all. There your life ends. What I mean to say is, Matra Deva, Vadhava, Pitru Deva, nothing. Acharya Deva, nothing is there. Only money and selfishness. It is dominating and ruling the whole world, rather to say. So what happens? The rituals are gone. All the rituals. Once, not now, in the beginning, when our 10th pontiff came to the ashram, 1969, and afterwards, say during 70 or 71, Kanchi Kamakoti Pithadishwar, that is the pontiff of Kanchi, Shankaracharya Math, he wanted to perform an yajna in Delhi. And Delhi is having so much population. And searching Delhi, there was not even a single fellow who is following the rituals according to scriptures. The performer should be a ritualistic person. For this Sesha Seshi, it is the remnant of particular action or particular thing. While explaining this, I told you Sesha Sheshi Bhava. That is, a person is performing a yajna to go to heaven. That what we say, Jyotishtomena Swarga Kamo Ejeta. Dasapurnama Sabhyam Swarga Kamo Ejeta. So simply taking some few pandits and some few material, he cannot perform this Jyotishtoma Yaga. From the beginning, he should be a Agnihotri. For this what I told, Jata Pustraha Krishna Kesha Agnimadadhita. When he enters into the household life, when first child was born, and still all this, his hair is black, then he should start performing Agnihotra. So such a person, if he is having a desire, then he can perform this Jyotishtoma. And while performing, if he desires money, then I told he should bring the water in the vessel in which he milks the cow. Milks the cow. Milking. Oh, so many rituals are there. All right. Let us not bother about the rituals. They are not able to perform. And at least let them take the name of the Lord for some time. That also is not there. From morning till night, running, running, running and running. After the world, after the money, after the everything. So, the selfishness and the money are dancing in the whole world. What can be done? That is the will of the God. We cannot all of a sudden change. That's why some people, this is Kali Yuga, so not necessary to take the name of the Lord for so many times. Once or twice if I take, it is sufficient. They give the argument. Excuse. So he says, not according to the scriptures, by them he will be attaining the mrityu by actions and other things. If he does with a selfish motive, he will be getting the mrityu. To avoid from that, to get out of the desire, the collectivity has been showed by the scripture. Then worship of Sambhuti becomes essential. Now the opponent got some clue. When you say you can perform the actions and worship collectively, then you say mind is getting purified and is overcoming the natural death. What is natural death? Attachment to the senses. He will overcome. Then why you are negating the worship of the Sambhuti? You got a clue? When the result is there, Sambhuti Vinasini, Yastadvedo Bhayam, so this also is having the result. So why you are refuting? That question comes. Then he says, if you say he overcomes death, then why he has to perform collectively the Sambhuti or Vinasancha? Then he says, to get good impressions. The proponent says, to get good impressions. How? That he says. Now, this you can see here, for only in the manner, the combining vasana laid down for the purification of the human mind is to transcend the death that is of the nature of attachment to rights and the fruits thereof. the means and end, characterized by the twofold longing for ends and means. For only in this manner can one become purged of impurity of the nature of death, characterized by the twofold longing. Hence, this avidya of the characterized of the combination of meditation of gods with rituals is intended to transfer death, transcending death. And that he got a clue. When you say one can perform the rites and the worship, but you are negating the worship of Sambhuti. You say it purifies the mind. And again you are negating the worship. And we see in the scripture, it is all right, we are negating here the Sambhuti. It will not give you the highest results like liberation by performing the worship of Sambhuti. Here we are talking of the absolute and the highest realization. For that we are negating it. But in the relative plane we are not negating. That he is going to tell. Doing whatever he likes and eating whatever he wants. The natural tendencies are there, so he should get away with these tendencies. Tendencies are there. To get away from them, some impressions are necessary. To get away from this natural attachment, not following the scriptures, not following any rules or regulations, doing whatever they like, eating whatever they like, drink and dance. And what you call, casinos are there. Casinos are there, go and drink and dance. That is. So he says, to remove that particular desires and to bring them into this life. If you perform the actions with the worship, you can overcome the natural attachment. As regular Agnihotra, if it is done without hankering for fruits, then it purifies the mind. Then what he says, all the rites enjoined for a particular stage of life, when you perform, then your mind is purified. A long discussion is there in Gita. There what he says, by performing the actions, you will be getting the results. But for, you see, there are two types of actions. Action with a particular result. Say going to heaven, having a son, or whatever it may be. But the actions that are prescribed for a particular stage of life, they are regular, they have to perform. This also, for this also we gave an illustration. Whether you remember or not, I don't know. We will just remind you. See, if a man goes to military, he has to perform the drill. Here I don't know in your place, but in our place, minimum 2 hours morning, he should go to the parade and do the drill. And he should be very regular. And if he does not go, punishment will be there. If he regularly goes, no sweets are distributed. Huh? Salary will not be increased. But if he is late, if he is not going for one day, punishment, terrible punishment. Huh? Taking 2 rifles on his shoulders, in the hot sun like this, you have to move a whole day without eating and drinking. He will soon he goes to swoon. Is that? This is something like that. The regular rights that are enjoined by the scriptures, if you don't perform, you will get punishment. Nitya karma. But Krishna says, even if you perform with results, anchoring for the results, then also you will get the highest fruits, he says. Because regularly performing the duties, your mind is not going outside, so your mind gets purified. That is the highest reward a person can get. That he exaggerates. But there also he says, better to do without hankering for fruits. Karmanyavadhikaraste mafaleshu kadachana. But even if you do with hankering for fruits, then also results will be there. That he encourages the aspirants. So, no performance of rites. They don't know what is Agnihotra. Even if you ask some people what is Gayatri Mantra, they don't. How to chant, it is out of question. Then what rites he will follow? All right. If they want some desire to be fulfilled, then they go to the temple. Pray for a time being. And afterwards, they don't do. But whatever they pray, the results they will be getting. Because the results are given by the God. At least he has come to me, so give him some prasad. He gives. In that way, slowly and slowly they may come. But that also is degrading day by day. They perform the worship of, as I told you, Shirdi Sai Baba. Famous everywhere. He gives all the days of the worldly ends. Whatever worldly desire you are having, just go to his temple, you chant his name, you chant his life, your desire is fulfilled. But no realization, no upliftment, no purification of the mind, no renunciation, no dispassion, nothing, no discrimination. Live to eat, eat to live. Bas. So here he says, the Agnihotra, etc., hankering for fruits, done without hankering, purifies the mind. Desires are removed. Avidya mutyum tirtva. Vidya amrutamasnute. Now, the opponent got another point. The Shruti says amrutamasnute. Amrita, deathlessness. Deathlessness. Then he says, crossover mrityu, avidya. Then he says it is not so. Evameva yeshana lakshana vidya mrityo taditirnasya viraktasya upanishashtratthalochana parasya. Now the proponent says, in this way, when the mind is purified, then only he gives up the desires, then he takes the support of Vedanta. That is telling, you see. Similarly, in one who has transcended death, consisting in avidya. One side he says transcending death, but again he is in avidya, he says. That means characterized by the twofold longing, sadhya sadhana, who is possessed of dispassion and who is intent on developing deep into the meaning of scriptures, Upanishads, the dawn of knowledge of oneness. What for? For the dawn of knowledge. Oneness of the Supreme Self is inevitable. If he gives up the desires, if he is having discrimination and dispassion, if he contemplates on the Upanishads, the realization is inevitable, he says. So, and as such, as compared with the ignorance that existed before, the knowledge of Brahman, which is the means for attainment of immortality, arose subsequently to be connected with the same person who has given up the desires and who was having discrimination and dispassion and the longing to know the oneness, such a man will be getting, he says. Hence, in this sense, the knowledge is said to be combined with ignorance. Therefore, since compared to the knowledge of Brahman, which is the means for the attainment of immortality, the worship of Hiranyagarbha serves a different purpose. That means worship of Hiranyagarbha will not give you the highest realization. Worship of Hiranyagarbha becomes a matter to be censured, as it does not directly lead to liberation, though it causes the elimination of impurity. It causes the elimination of the impurity of the mind, but immediately you will not get highest liberation. Thus alone, consequent on the denunciation of the worship of Hiranyagarbha, it becomes proved that his existence is only relative. See, again he says, it is only in the relative world, the combination of all the subtle bodies, Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, from the point of view of the unity of the self, which is the supreme reality, creation symbolized by Hiranyagarbha, that is called immortal, is negated. That's why even in Gita, what we say, that Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra, whatever has been told in the Upanishads. Now, here it says, when we read the Gaudapada Acharya, he is negating the worship of Hiranyagarbha. We are not able to take into our mind. But Sri Krishna also says, in the 8th chapter, in the 16th sloka, Abrahma bhavana loka punaravartino jina mamupetyadu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. Till Brahmaloka, all the lokas, all the words, all the jivas, they are attacked by birth and death. So, they take birth, they go to death. That's why he says, even if you go to Brahma Bhavana Loka, whoever is there, all of them, they should have birth and death. Only attaining me, he goes beyond birth and death. Attaining me in the sense Atma. Because he has never gave any mantra to worship him. At best, Om he told in one place, Om ityeka aksham Brahma. That the same Gaudapada Acharya says. Through that, if you want, you can realize. Think that everything is imagination, everything is illusion, only one Atman is, that is Brahman. Everything is superimposed. Om Ityekhaksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanasparan. By chanting, you will realize that he also says. For this only, for the students of Kailas Ashrama, they say, first you study all the Upanishads thoroughly, then Brahma Sutras, then go to Gita. Now, you see, Gaudapadacharya refuted Sambhuti, going to Brahmaloka. And if those who study Gita, they cannot understand this. After reading this, if they go to Gita, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Jina Mamupetyetu Punarjanmana Vidyate, then they will understand the actual meaning. And he clearly says, all the individuals, those who are staying Brahmaloka and down all the lokas, they have to go to birth and death. Clearly says, in the very meaning. So, Krishna has not told anything new, or the Gaudapadacharya is not telling anything new, or the Shankaracharya is not telling anything new. Everything is there in the Vedas, everything is there in the Gita also. But simply superficially reading Gita, if you say I understand Gita, it will not be complete understanding. Evam eva yeshana lakshana vidya. Now he is coming to the real deathlessness will be got by collective upasana, that is the relative amrutatva. See, whatever is told, he will attain by the collective upasana, sambhuti, anubhuti. That happiness is relative happiness. It is not the absolute. By avidya sabdena collectivity is told. Then how vidyancha, samuchaya, how they have told both to do collectively. Then he says, the upasana of gods and the rights that are enjoined by the scriptures, if done collectively, one will not get liberation. See, by the upasana, a particular deity, and by the rights enjoined by the scriptures, one will not get liberation. What he gets? Mind is purified slowly, and he gets detached to the world. Afterwards, he will get religion. But immediately, that's why I told, krutopasakaha, akrutopasaka. One who has worshipped all through the life, and he becomes one with the deity. To that extent he goes. That is called actually the upasana. For him, immediately he realizes, if somebody does. I gave the illustration of Bhaskaraya, the commentator on Lalita Sahasranam. I gave the illustration, so many illustrations we have given. If there is no absolute realization of oneness, that the meaning of this mantra, then what he told, the worship of asambhuti or sambhuti. Sambhuti is the cause, asambhuti is the effect. So, by worshipping cause, he will not be getting absolute realization. Then what to do? He is going to tell. Coming to the present context. The combination is for the purification. If it is desirable, then why you are negating the worship of Sutratman? If you say by combining both you will be getting purification of the mind, then why you are negating the worship of Sambhuti? Then he says, because it cannot give absolute realization. That is why it is negated. Showing the result of negation, he is closing the meaning of the first part of the sloka. Atayeva. Atayeva sambhute apavadat sambhute apekshikameva. We negate because we will not be getting the absolute bliss or realization. Paramatha sadatma ekatvam apeksha. The oneness. When you compare the result of the Sambhuti worship, it is not equal to the oneness. Amrutakhya. What is oneness? That is deathlessness. Ever again there will be no death and no birth. Amruta. It is na amruta iti amruta, no death. Sambhava pratisiddhyate. He says, thus alone, consequent on the denunciation of the worship of Hiranyagarbha, it becomes proved that his existence is only relative. And therefore, from the point of view of the unity of the self, which is the supreme reality, unity of the self, which is the supreme reality, creation symbolized by Hiranyagarbha, that is called immortal, is negated. So, from the point of view of the unity of the self, which is supreme reality, the worship of Hiranyagarbha is relative, that's why it is relative. That in very simple words, Sri Krishna says, Brahma bhavana loka punaravartino arjuna, even including the Hiranyagarbha loka. Everybody is affected by the birth and death. Evam maya anirmitasyeva jivasya avidya pratipastapitasya avidyanasha. Maya, not maya. It is maya. Maya nirmitasya eva jivasya. He says, the individual is created by only illusion. The individuality, as long as you maintain your individuality, the ego, you will not realize. The ego is the biggest stumbling block in self-realization. So, maya nirmitasyeva jivasya avidya pratyustapitasya avidya nashe. Now, first he told maya, again he says avidya. And he is talking about the same individual. So, we conclude it is both are of the carrying of the same meaning. Swabhava rupatvat paramartha konvenam janayet. The nature of the Atman, it is immortal. So, who can make it to take a birth? Nobody can induce it to take the birth. Konvenam janayet. Nahi rajvam avidyaropitam sarpam punarvivekato nashtam janayet kaschit. After removing the apparent delusion or illusion from the rope, the snake is not there. Again, who is going to create a snake on the rope? Nobody. Tatha na kasidenam janayediti. In the same way, the individual is never created. Konvena iti aksheparthatvat karanam pratisiddhyase. Why he cannot be created? The cause is removed, he says. What is the cause? Ignorance. Avid, avidyodbhutasya nastasya janitra karanam na kinchidasti. After removal of the ignorance, again there will be no creation. Nayam kutasit na babhuva kasit. That's why even the Shruti also says, Nayam kutasit na bhuva. It did not come from anywhere, nor did anything come from it. Like that it says. Now, the English. Thus, inasmuch as the individual soul itself, that is a creation of Maya, individual soul is the creation of Maya. And the projects through ignorance assumes its real nature on the destruction of ignorance. On the destruction of ignorance, he says, assumes its real nature. Who in reality will cause it to be born? After the ignorance is there, who will make him born? For none will revive a snake ignorantly superimposed on a rope, when it is already realized as rope itself through discrimination. So also, no one will create it by the words ka and no, konvenam janet, ko, ka and no, which are indicative of denial is denied causality. The cause, sambhuti is the cause. That is also removed. The idea implied is that nothing forms the cause of birth of a thing which disappeared thus. As evidenced by the Shruti passage, it did not come from anywhere, nor did anything come from it. What is told is being explained by illustration. Nahi, that when you remove the superimposition, again there will not be a snake on the rope. Nahi. Kassidenam janiyet, telling this is negating the cause. Who will create him? How he can take birth? That is negating the cause. The word kim, how it negates cause? Then he says, koniti. He has explained, konvenam janet. Konu ityai akshepartham. Nobody can create after ignorance is removed. If the jiva is created, how can you say there is no reason for creating? We see an individual has been created, and you say, there is no reason for creating. Ignorance, if is not there, how? And then he says, Nastasya janayitra karanam na kinchid asti. If once the ignorance disappears, then there is no cause for it to create. Without ignorance, he cannot have the birth. His having a birth means ignorance is there. Na babhuva kasit. So, this particular verse, 25th Karika is over. Now, we are going to the 26th. 5 minutes are there. In the very beginning he says, duality does not exist. Sayesha neti neti iti vyakhyatam nihunate yataha sarvam agrahya bhavena hetuna ajam prakashate. That is the Karika. On the ground of non-apprehension of Brahman, all the preceding instructions for its comprehension is negated by the Sriti. Because you have not experienced the Brahman, to experience it is negating everything. Telling the self is that which has been declared as not this, not this. Hence, the unborn self becomes revealed by itself. When he negates neti neti, now the self is beyond word, speech and mind. We have to understand that. Then how the Shruti make you understand? He says, there are two forms of Brahman, Murta and Amurta. That are the elements. What is Amurta elements? That is ether and air. What are Murta? That is water, fire and earth. Fire, water and earth. So, because of the elements, when they combine in a particular way, Panchikarana, it becomes gross. And all the sense organs, the mind, the prana, sense organs, everything has been created by the subtle elements. Now, by negating twice, what is doing? Murta and Amurta. Whatever is having form, that is. Whatever is not having form, in the grass as well as in the subtle. Then, after removing everything, where from you have removed? If you want to see a superimposition, some support is necessary. So, first what he told in the Shruti, Devava Brahmano Rupe. Brahman is having two forms. And by negating those two forms, we conclude that Brahman alone is there. So that's why he says, this is the highest teaching of the Vedas. Nobody can tell the Atman or Brahman, showing you an object. It is not an object. Because of it, you are talking, you are seeing, you are hearing. And these are all the effects. And effect cannot understand the cause. Effect is mind. What it understands, when it dissolves in it, it experiences. Experience now also is there. You are experiencing so many things. So, bodhe bodhe viditam pratibodha viditam matam. In Kena Upanishad we read. Every time we say, I know, I know, I know. So, this knowing in each knowledge is called the pratibodha, actual experience. Knowing through what? The knower. So, knower is there, then only you are knowing. And each and every step you say, I know, I know, I know. So, in these all knowledge, different knowledge, one thing is there which is knowing. All the knowledge is known by somebody. That knower we call Atman, or the, say, Brahman, or the Jiva. That's why Pratibodha Viditam Matam. there in Karen Upanishad he says. Here what he says? But nobody says directly this is Atman. You see in any scripture? Because the speech and mind cannot go there. And when you know it, you will be merging, you will not come back. Only very few, those who are blessed by the God, they experience it and they come back and tell somebody. So, here he says, Sa yesha neti neti iti vyakhyatam. Again he says, which has been declared as neti neti, not this. Hence, the unborn self becomes revealed by itself. That is, he says, now how he has started, the duality does not exist. From this, he starts, and the commentary and sub-commentary is there for this verse. That we will do tomorrow morning.